Well, it's nighttime here, somewhere in Glendale. I want to talk about the issue about the homeless problem in Arizona. See, big problem that society at large has big problem they assume is that there's a big old social safety net with a homeless shelter that has fresh, empty beds at any given time. No. And, parents think they can, instead of having to deal with themselves instead of Christian parents having to deal with themselves in some intercession, instead they try to be authoritarians, like some people I know. No, they throw their kids out on the street, not because it's not because of substance abuse problems or mental illness. No, it's some other things. Well, you know what? With this whole coronavirus social distancing, this might set the economy in depression. You're going to have to learn to get along. But throwing people on the street, that's not an option. And sadly, not every community has a fresh homeless shelter with beds waiting. Now, there's a few of them, but they're always full. The homeless population is bigger than the amount of shelter. What some police like to do is they like to round you up because in Arizona, if you're homeless on the street, they assume you're crazy, so they lock you up in the psych ward. Oh, you get a petition. They throw a petition on you. They can make up whatever they want, really, and then they send you to usually community bridges in the East Valley. Don't know what they do in the West Valley. Maybe the same thing. But then the petition gets reviewed. Sometimes it gets sucked down. Sometimes you get evaluated after 72 hours and you get let go. Sometimes you end up in the mental hospital. Then they decide to either put you on court-ordered treatment, which is forced drugging for a year, even though sometimes, and most likely, you don't have a mental disorder. This is a racket. And then, after 30 days, after they take your medical insurance money, come on, that's what it's really about. That's what keeps the scam going. Access, Mercy Care. So then it's like, the social worker comes up. Let's decide to put you in flex care. Well, I hate to say this, but flex care is only reserved for people who can't wipe their own hind end, who can't take care of themselves. Granted, I've ran across a couple of people like that, but I'm not one of them. But yet the social worker kept trying to squeeze me into a Mercy Care into a flex care facility. And even then the flex care facility is like, well, can you take care of yourself? Can you budget your own money? Can you access your own energy? Yes. Well, then flex care isn't for you. Then why are all the social workers keep trying to push you in a flex care home? Well, then we'll put you in TLP in a step-down facility. Step-down facility is just basically is either in another psych ward or another mental hospital. Integral Health Systems, take your pick. Or they dump you in a wing on the west side of the valley. Then, if they can't find any place for you, they can't find any placement. If you don't have if you don't have a substance abuse problem, a drug or an alcohol problem, well, then they generally can't help you. And then their next bet is to send you to CAS, which is Central Arizona Shelter Services. By the way, has less than 350 beds, but yet Mesa, Glendale, Phoenix, Tempe, Mesa, Chandler, they all want to send you to CAS. That's a lot of cities. Mesa's homeless population on average is over 3,500. Yeah, do the math here. The math doesn't add up. CAS is full. It's always full. You're lucky if you call ahead of time and they answer the phone. Church on the street, well, they do a couple things on the weekends, but their shelter services, how do you expect in modern America, especially with social distancing, to get on with your life, find affordable housing, Section 8 housing when most of the government offices are shut down for the moment, and they won't let you use your cell phone. Instead, they want you to, even though you may have unlimited bits or an Obama phone, they don't want you to use your cell phone for 6 months out of the year while you're there in their program, and they want you to use their landline. You only got, I don't know, 5 minutes for the total day. Let's be real, folks. With all these phone menu systems and all the offices, all the medical offices, the Social Security Administration that puts you on hold for at least 5 minutes. So your time's up while you're on hold. The Social Security Administration alone has an average wait time of at least 45 minutes. This isn't real. These aren't realistic expectations. And let's get back to, then there's the final option. There's the final issue I have. City councilmen and the mayors of cities like Glendale and Phoenix, despite the Ninth Circuit ruling that you can't force you can't force the homeless to stop sleeping or stop camping in public areas if you don't offer a shelter alternative. You don't. But you want to run people off and keep them from sleeping anyway. That is why that ruling exists. That constitutes cruel and unusual punishment. And sometimes we have to find private areas, abandoned businesses. Not proud of it, but hey, what are you going to do if the police force you to stop camping in public areas? Or they try to have an urban camping ban in parks. They close the parks at 10. Seriously, what's a park ranger going to do at 10 o'clock at night in a small square space park area? Other than run you off. Or a policeman. I mean, I know, my great uncle was a cop. So, I mean, I understand you guys got a job to do, but come on. And then if you do talk to the cops, see, even some of the cops here will admit the shelter system sucks. So, okay, what are all you city council doing it instead of ordering the police to sheep herd us off? You know what? How about make it a point to get with some 501c3s or the city in its own way can instead of, what are they doing with all this HUD money they get from the federal government? Shoveling it into their general funds when they should be have those developers develop some actual Section 8 and affordable housing, because that's a big shortage in here, Arizona. There's not a shortage of luxury homes or used homes that the average 20 or 30-year-old can't afford. That's why they're still living with their parents or try to. And the older generation hasn't quite figured this out yet. Dude, it's not like millennial generation and some Gen Xers like living in the basement doing nothing. No, some of us want to get out. We just can't afford to. We just can't afford to. Because, okay, even here with the minimum wage being $12 an hour, you're lucky if you get 20 hours, maybe 40 hours a week. The Obamacare mandates aren't helping, as jobs are still limiting you to working maybe 30 hours a week. You're lucky if you get 40 hours a week. Because of Obamacare, part-time, full-time work is almost mythological in some respects in most industries. In retail, you're lucky if you get 30 hours, maybe 35 if you're lucky. Still. So, let's see. Stop sheep herding homeless. Not all of us are drug addicts or alcoholics. Not all of us want to be. Some of us want actually to get back into affordable housing. But the shortage of affordable housing, folks, here's the reality check. Let's say you do go through outpatient clinic therapy and they do all that to you. You get put on a scattered spaces housing list, which puts you a voucher. You know how long it takes you to find housing? One person at Community Bridges told me 3 years. 3 years. Come on. That's a lot of urban camping or sleeping in and out of hotels on the weekend when you want to take a shower, because not every city offers showering for the homeless on the weekends. What are we to do? And yet, I don't care if you're conservative or liberal, but some of the conservative cities are really dropping the bomb on this. They really are. You can't sweep this under the rug anymore. You can't. You can't sheep herd them all to one location in Phoenix. There's homeless camps on certain blocks for this. Yeah, the police will clean up the sewage and sanitize the streets, but it wouldn't hurt to, if there's a homeless camp there, at least drop a porta-john so people aren't pissing and crapping in the streets. Thank God. And some businesses banning the use of public restrooms, that doesn't help things either. I get it. The druggies ruin everything. They want to shoot up on the restrooms. I get it. I see it. You know what? Some homeless steal from other homeless, unfortunately. But some of us more law-abiding ones, which want to get our act back together and get back into society, don't do that. And, maybe if the cops, instead of cracking down and try to sheep herd it off, if they got together with the law-abiding ones and say, hey, these people are up to no good, all they do is shoot up in an alley all day. Maybe if they help those out, maybe some people would bend their low coat. Because the thing with some people with the homeless is, don't get the cops involved, don't get the cops involved. Well, really, if you got another homeless person attacking you, or threatening you, or stealing from you, when do you involve law enforcement if they're going to do anything? When do you? When and when not to? I mean, are you not going to call 911 or the cops when someone's threatening your life or almost stabs you because of a drug deal gone bad? Or because that person feels the need to intimidate or have your way with the females? Seriously, when? Not calling the cops all the time does not yield results. Plus, where else are you supposed to charge? It's getting difficult during this whole social distancing thing to find outlets to charge electronics for your phones. Not to be selfish, but yeah, how else are we supposed to get back on our feet and communicate with government agencies, clinics, etc., if we can't charge our phones and we can't call? And those government-issued Obama phones that are issued by everyone from SafeLink to Assurance Wireless, they have crappy battery life. They don't last long. And some people, fortunately for me, for the moment, I get a Social Security check because I'm disabled. But majority of the other homeless don't. They fortunately have to hustle, either resell drugs, steal crap and resell it. That's not a long-term deal. But I've seen it happen. So selling drugs? If here's a problem with corporate America and with the drug war. Apparently, in Breaking Bad, it explains this. I've never seen the show, but they try to paint the fact that selling methamphetamines, among other things, pays the bills. Who knows? Maybe that's true. Because in America, well, let's see. You're being taxed on your Obamacare, even though they try to call it a fee and dance around it. You're being taxed on your income, siphoning off the wealth from the middle class. Not just from the federal level, but from a lot of state levels too. And on top of the Federal Reserve, money printing. When you get that $1,200 stimulus check, it's gonna be impossible to pay off whatever debt you have. $1,200 doesn't even cover an apartment's rent. Doesn't. I mean, in Phoenix, for example, the local market here, it's so overinflated that just to rent a bedroom in somebody's house costs over $600, maybe $800 for a bedroom, not an apartment, a bedroom in someone's house. This has got to stop. It's no wonder the homeless problem in the Valley of the Sun is exploding. People can't afford to rent anything. Unless you come from the East Coast or California, or, and then you're bringing your progressive values with you. Something's got to give. All right, it's getting late. I don't want to drain my battery. I'm signing out. I'm uploading this to YouTube. Catch you later.